Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Mishpacha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. I'm your host, Rabbi Yehuda ben Shomer, and today I'm going to be talking about Noah's blessing and Yeshuas prophecy. Now, let me take you to Matthew chapter 8, verses 5 through 8, and it says, "And when Yeshua entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Yeshua said unto him, I will come and heal him. And the centurion answered and said, Lord, I'm not worthy that thou shalt come under my roof. But speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed." Now, even though that this Roman centurion, though occupying Capernaum, due to his enlistment and rank in the Roman army, he was not an oppressor of the Jewish people, but a person who held the Jewish people in high respect and high regards, and revered the faith of the Jewish people. He was not the type to compel a Jew to carry his gear a mile or two, according to Matthew 5, verse 41. Because of the parallel passage that we find about this Roman centurion and his faith found in Luke chapter 7, verses 1 through 10, it is very likely that this high-ranking and powerful Roman centurion was not only generous to Israel through charitable means, but possibly a Gentile looking into converting to the Jewish faith. He was knowledgeable enough that he had to go through the proper channels in order to even seek an audience with Rabbi Yeshua, according to Luke chapter 7, verse 3, as well as knowing, due to the possibility of becoming ritually contaminated and causing a Jew not to be permitted to participate in worship at the temple, the Roman centurion would not allow Yeshua to come to his home, despite Yeshua's willingness to go. This shows that the Roman centurion had great respect and extensive knowledge of the Jewish rituals and customs. These passages possibly hint that the Roman centurion was on a path towards Torah obedience, Torah observance, but knew that his home was not 100% kosher for a Jew, or a Jewish rabbi for that matter, to enter into his home. He knew that if a Jew or even a rabbi would come into his home, he would become ritually unclean because he wasn't totally 100% kosher or Torah observant at that time. Now Matthew chapter 8 verse 9 says, this is the Roman centurion speaking, "For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it." This verse shows this potential convert's zealousness and remarkable faith that few homegrown Jews had. Now Matthew 8:10 says, when Yeshua heard it, he marveled. Can you imagine saying something that shocks the Messiah? He said to them that followed, basically to the Jewish people that were following him and saw this conversation transpire, he says, "Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel." He was putting his Jewish brethren to shame, saying, hey, you guys don't have faith like this man. This passage shows that Yeshua the Messiah is affirming that Torah obedience and the Jewish faith is for Gentiles as well as for Jews. Matthew 8:11, "And I say unto you," this is Yeshua speaking, "that many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven." This is Yeshua giving a prophecy here. Now, I believe that this prophecy is based on Noah's blessing to his three sons. In Genesis chapter 9, verse 27, it says, "God shall enlarge Japheth." Now, Japheth is the father of all the Caucasoid, Caucasian, white, and Asian peoples, as far as we know. "And he shall dwell in the tents of Shem." Shem was the father of all the Semitic, otherwise Hebrew, Jewish, and Arabic peoples. "And Canaan shall be his servant." Now, Canaan was the son of Ham, and Ham was the father of all the black, African, dark-skinned races. Now, don't get me wrong, people have mistranslated this verse and have taken it out of context over and over. Because they think, oh, well, Canaan was cursed, he's going to be the servant, he's going to be a slave, and they equivalent this servanthood to Shem as slavery, but no, that's not what it is. Let me read to you Matthew 8:11 once again, and we'll get deeper into this. It says, Yeshua said, "And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. East and west is used for two reasons. First off, it implies a people without number. Why? Because you can measure north to south. If you travel north long enough, you will eventually start finding yourself traveling south again. But if you head in a direction east to west or west to east, and you can travel in that direction forever, and you will always be traveling east. Or if you go west, you will always be traveling west. Secondly, it speaks of Gentiles of the West. That would be considered the Roman and Greek Empire, which basically this Roman centurion was a part of, and the East is implying the Middle Eastern and Asian cultures. The Asian cultures would also be sons of Japheth. North may not have been mentioned by the Messiah because people were not yet known to live much farther north than they were at that time. And so, as well as east-west in a vertical kind of fashion encompasses the north as well. South was not mentioned, probably because this spoke of Ham serving Shem in the capacity of helping teach Japheth. So basically, Canaan, or Ham, is not going to be a slave to Shem or a slave to Japheth. He's going to assist Shem in teaching Torah. So basically, this prophecy is dealing with the sons of Japheth, the Gentiles from the east and the west, that are going to eventually become Torah observant, just like Shem and just like Ham and his son Canaan and their descendants. Matthew 8:12. Oh, hang on just a second. So let me also mention here about Matthew 8:11. It says that the Israeli patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are mentioned to imply that the innumerable Gentiles of the West and East seek a Torah-based faith. So in the end of days, you're going to see Gentiles coming to Messiah and coming to Torah like never before. And this is just starting to happen, folks. The kingdom of heaven implies the body of believers, both Jew and Gentile. Now Matthew 8:12 says, "But the children of the kingdom shall be cast into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth." This mention of children of the kingdom speaks of children of Israel in Matthew 3:9, which says, "And think not to say within yourselves, We have Abraham to our father. For I say unto you that God is able to make these stones to rise up children unto Abraham." So just because you are genetically, ethnically from Abraham doesn't mean that you're safe and going to be automatically ushered into the kingdom. No, you have to do the works of Abraham, which is, what are the works of Abraham? The works of Abraham are Torah. So more specifically, because of the Assyrian captivity of Israel, these children of the kingdom was referring to children of Judah, the children of David, the Jews returning from the Babylonian captivity. For by this time, many of the lost tribes of Israel were considered Gentilized. Matthew 3:9 and 8:12. These are Jews who lack the type of faith of the Roman centurion, but think that they are safe because they are physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Judah. Now, Yochanan the Immerser, John the Baptist, said it before Yeshua did here in our focus text in Matthew 8. What the fate of such children of Abraham would be, them that remain unrepentant and faithless. It says in Matthew 3:7-10, "But when he saw the many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to the baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who hath warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance. And think not to say within yourselves, We have Abraham as our father. For I say unto you that God is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham. And now also the axe is laid unto the root of the tree. Therefore every tree which brings not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire." Now, moving on from John the Baptist to John the Revelator. John the Revelator listed what it would take to make it into the lake of fire. And it was similar to that which was mentioned above by John the Baptist, the fearful and the unbelieving, which represents the faithless according to Romans 4:23b, and the unrepentant. What follows in Revelation 21:8 is a litany of who will be in the lake of fire that is to come. But the fearful and the unbelieving, the abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Now back to Matthew 8:12. "But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Outer darkness is what ignorance and rebellion attracts and deserves. Matthew 8:13. And Yeshua said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed it, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in that very same hour. What we're talking about here is this mustard seed of faith. This faith that can move mountains, which the Roman centurion had, and many Jewish people of the day did not have. They just thought that they were good enough as sons of Abraham. No, you had to have faith and belief in the Torah. You had to walk the Torah. You had to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. Matthew 17:20 talks about this mustard seed of faith. This faith that made Yeshua willing to become temporarily ritually unclean is what this Roman centurion was praised for. It was the faith Yeshua's own brother James, Yaakov, mentioned in James chapter 1, verses 5 through 6, that Yeshua praised the Roman centurion for. It was the faith of the Roman centurion that Yeshua hoped would provoke the children of the kingdom that we just mentioned to the unbelieving and the unrepentant children of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob and Judah, to jealousy, according to Romans 10:19 and 11:11. And bring these unrepentant, unbelieving, stiff-necked, hard-hearted Jews, Pharisees, and Sadducees to repentance, because that's what it's all about here, folks. So this was, hopefully you enjoyed this little drosh regarding Noah's blessing of his 3 sons and Yeshua's prophecy mentioned here, and how that applies to the Roman centurion, and how it applies to Gentiles and faith in Messiah Yeshua, and also faith in the Torah. Thanks for watching. Shalom and Shavuot Tov.